I was stunned when I saw the torn marriage contract. It bore the royal seal. At that moment, I realized the beggar standing before me was definitely not who he appeared to be. Without hesitation, I declared that I was willing to marry him. What I didn't know then was that this so-called beggar was actually the king in disguise. The previous monarch had made a marriage pact with my family, the Starks. But 3 days ago, my father, Howard, had poisoned the tribute he sent to the king, causing the monarch to fall gravely ill. When the truth came out, the new king stripped my father of his title and ordered his execution in 3 days' time. To save his own life, my father revealed the old marriage pact between our family and the royal bloodline, but the king refused to forgive him and had him thrown into prison. Then, to test the character of the Stark family's daughters, the king disguised himself as a beggar and came to our estate. Coincidentally, that day we were holding a husband selection ceremony. My name is Annie, the youngest daughter of the Stark family. Since my mother's death, I've endured endless humiliation from my stepmother and sister. Just as I was about to throw the marriage ball, the beggar suddenly called out to me and revealed the royal marriage contract. When my sister and stepmother saw how poor he looked, they immediately denied the engagement. Right then, a rich official's son arrived. My sister threw her ball straight into his hands, sneering that only men like him were worthy of her. She then flattered him, hoping he'd ask his father to save ours from execution. Seeing her true nature, the king tore the contract to shreds and threw it to the ground. That's when I noticed the royal seal. I picked up the torn pages and said I was willing to marry the beggar. To test my sincerity, he warned me that his family was poor and life with him would be hard. But I told him I didn't care about wealth. I only wanted someone who truly loved me. My sister laughed in my face, but I ignored her. The king then took me away from the Stark mansion to a small, worn-down house he had prepared in advance. When we arrived, his mother brought him a bowl of medicine and urged him to drink. Learning that he had been poisoned, I offered to go into the mountains to find herbs myself. His mother was moved by my kindness and agreed to our marriage. But then I took out the torn marriage contract, pointed to the royal seal, and begged them to help rescue my father. The king pretended to sigh and said they were poor, that he was still poisoned, and couldn't help me. When he saw my disappointment, he asked if I regretted marrying him. I told him no, I would always stay loyal to him. The king was deeply touched. His mother, the Queen Dowager, approved of me on the spot and ordered the wedding to be held immediately. The next morning, as the king and his mother discussed freeing my father, my sister arrived with the rich heir. She demanded that the king dissolve his marriage with her so she could marry the heir instead. Just then, a servant burst in saying my father had been taken to the execution grounds. We rushed there at once. Father still believed my sister and her suitor would save him and looked at me with disgust. Seeing his cruelty, the king scolded him harshly. Hearing his voice, father suddenly realized that the beggar was the king himself. But before he could say anything more, the king's poison flared up again. His guards rushed him away, leaving me alone to face everyone's mockery. Father, furious and ashamed, disowned me in front of the crowd. Tears filled my eyes as I said that ever since mother died,